This is Stephanie Oden, and welcome to the Quiet Impact Podcast. I am your host, and this is where we nurture, inspire, equip, empower, and educate introverted leaders and business owners just like you who are making waves quietly and with impact. And on this episode of the Quiet Impact Podcast, I want to share with you 7 strategies that I shared in a summit. And these strategies are all around how you can have more sales and generate more leads. I give you some instructions in this episode on how you can figure out which one is the one that you need to focus on next so you can navigate and manage your energy to get the best results for where you are right now in your business. So let's jump in, shall we? Welcome to the Quiet Impact Podcast, where we nurture the journey of introverts who desire to achieve greater levels of influence, income, and impact. The go-to podcast for introvert achievers just like you, seeking purpose-driven growth. I am your host, Stephanie Oden. Have you ever desired to have a mentor whisper success secrets into your ear? One with firsthand experience as a 6-figure corporate leader, expertise in entrepreneurship, and is an introvert? Tune into each episode where we will provide valuable insights into how introverts can effectively navigate life with full-time jobs, pursue career success, and delve into entrepreneurship. We will explore various business and career topics related to self-discovery, achieving success, and finding joy in the journey. My guest and I share real-life experiences, strategies, tools, and resources that will encourage personal and professional growth, self-empowerment, and living an authentic, purposeful life. Let's get into today's episode. We're not shy, timid, or needing to be fixed. We are an introvert, and that is our superpower. Introverted AFF. Absolutely fabulous and feisty. I want to share with you some strategies that I shared in a recent summit, and I hope they will give you a good idea of what you need to have in place to make sure that you can generate more leads and more sales, and ultimately get you to the place of being able to do that on repeat, because there are some key strategies. So lean in, make sure you get a pen and paper out and take notes. And of course, you can always come back and listen to the episode again if you've missed something. And if you know another introvert entrepreneur, make sure you share this with them. Many introverts find it challenging to put themselves out there and promote their products and their services and their opportunity once they put their stake in the ground and decided, I'm an entrepreneur, let alone promote themselves in a way that feels authentic. I know how this feels. I felt the same way. Before I stepped into entrepreneurship, I was a corporate 6-figure leader, labeled as a high achiever, and still was constantly told to be more outgoing, aka more introverted. When I decided to become an entrepreneur, I spent a lot of time acting like those that I saw in the limelight, like doing my best to model their behaviors. And I did that very unsuccessfully, by the way, until I realized that I'd had a great deal of success. Success leaves clues. I'd had a great deal of success leveraging my strengths as an introvert. And to me, being an introvert was my superpower. That for me to succeed as an entrepreneur, I had to remember and apply what I had learned from Bob Proctor. I have to be me. Not the me that you think I should be, but the me that I was born to be. I am Stephanie Oden, your empowerment coach and success strategist and fellow introvert entrepreneur. I will be sharing with you strategies to help you generate more leads and sales so that you can build your business and achieve your dreams while embracing your introvert strengths. The good news is you don't have to resort to pushy sales tactics, and you have the freedom to be you. Now, it's not a one size fits all when I say an introvert. You probably already know that because there's different scales, there's different strengths, there's different things that make us up. So if I refer to something and you think, well, I'm not that way as an introvert, that's okay. The disclaimer that I have, though, is that the strategies are simple, but not without effort. So apply what you learn here. Don't get more knowledge just to let it become shelf knowledge. Take what you learn here and apply it so that you can grow the business that you desire to have. One more before we dive into the strategies to help you take the pressure off of yourself and the awkwardness that can come from putting yourself out there. According to Myers-Briggs, almost 50% of the population in the United States considers themselves more introverted, which means that it's highly probable that you will have a natural connection at some level with people that you meet by being yourself. Now, that doesn't mean they're all going to buy from you. If it were that easy, everybody would be an entrepreneur, right? This does support, however, that you being you in the marketplace is the right thing to do. As I share strategies with you, I encourage you to make the training active for you. As you hear strategy, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, like a self-assessment. And that way, at the end, you'll have an area to focus on over the next 30 days, next 60 days, next 90 days, whatever you choose, right? And these strategies, they are based on insights and experiences from mentors, coaches, client success stories, and industry research and best practices from successful introvert entrepreneurs. Let's dive into the strategies. So strategy number 1 is to decide. You may think, okay, I did. Be clear, decide what it is you're bringing to the marketplace. Seems so simple, but it is a strategy. Decide what product or service or opportunity you will represent, that you will be a part of, that you are aligned to. And I encourage you to connect with something that, or create something that aligns with who you are, like your passion, your purpose, your cause, your drive, because that is critical when you start to relate to people and in terms of your authenticity. I love this quote by author Susan Cain. And she said, introverts are capable of acting like extroverts for the sake of the work we feel is important. It's always fun for me to observe when a group of introverts get together. You really don't know that they're introverts. It is so important to decide and align with something that has you fired up and excited and motivated, and you can continue to stand behind as you go through the journey of being more and more successful as an introvert entrepreneur. Strategy number 2, define your ideal audience. And I look at this in 2 parts. One, because part 1 leverages our introvert strengths of being introspective, our level of awareness and knowing who we are, really processing through things. And it's partly an inside job, knowing what your core values are, knowing who you used to be, knowing what you knew or where you were before you found what you found or you learned what you learned. That's really important. And that's part 1 of identifying your ideal audience. Why do you want to identify your ideal audience? Because you can, if you attempt to talk to everyone, you talk to no one. And the easiest people for you to relate to is someone who's had a similar experience that has been looking for you. Part two of that piece is determining your niche or niche. I've heard it both ways. I don't care how you say it. All I know is it's about defining, now that you know how you're going to show up, your core values, a general idea of who you want to serve. Now you want to look at what are their needs and their wants and their motivations and their fears. What do they struggle with? What are their interests? What are their hobbies? Why would they say no to you? How is the best way to communicate with them? The reason why you want to do this is it allows you to create content that they want to see, and it helps to create a connection with your ideal audience. It's the clarity. The clarity is the key point with this strategy, because once you have clarity, you can establish a better connection, you can have a better conversation, and that will lead to a conversion in most cases. Not all, but you definitely have to have clarity, connection, and a conversation before that can be a conversion, okay? Clarity is an income seed. You spend time being who you need to be for those that are looking for you. And when you're clear, it gives you the confidence to ask for and get what you want for the value that you provide. It allows you to craft communication. It allows you to speak into your ideal customers. And the goal, my personal strategy is, whether someone buys from me or not, my goal is to leave them better in some way, an impression of increase in some way, whether they invest or buy from me or not. Strategy number 3, we're starting to move in some things that are getting into more of a marketing standpoint, and that's content pillars. What are content pillars? Okay, when you're starting out again, or you're wanting to level up, or you're wanting to redefine, you want to be able to have a core set of things that you post around or you post about. Now, this can expand, but I recommend starting with 4 to 6. Okay, 4 to 6 main content pillars that match who you are and they match who you want to serve. Now, this isn't your actual posts on social media, but these are the things that you want to post about regardless of the platform. And I'll talk more about different platforms in another one of the strategies. But your content marketing is a highly effective way for you to generate more leads and sales, because it allows you to showcase your expertise and build relationships with your audience, with our audience. And it helps us manage our energy because we're not all over the place. Okay. It gets us out of our head into action. And I think about the content pillars like the car, right? We'll talk about where we're taking the car when we talk about the platforms, but this is the car. One of my clients does estate sales, and after we worked through her ideal customer blueprint, 2 of her content pillars were, one was Mythbusters and one was antiques. So that gave her a focus area to look at. And when you looked at specific tasks or posts that she could create, for example, the one around antiques, it was things like vintage and colonial or art deco, art nouveau. So she could generate posts around that under her content pillar of antiques. I hope that makes sense. Here's a pro tip. You can repurpose the content across different channels to maximize your reach and your impact. Okay. Remember, this is the car. You can create blog posts, social media posts, emails, video. So you're using your energy once and you're putting it across different platforms. I mentioned video. I slid it in there on you. I know often when I speak to introvert entrepreneurs, some even have podcasts, and I talk to them about doing a video, and their face cringes. But here's the thing, you don't have to dance, okay? At the same time, video is an ideal way for your customer to get to know you faster, build up that trust factor and the credibility. And you can start out by doing videos that don't have your face on the camera. I created a resource with ideas for videos for people who are still a little camera shy. You can get a copy of that at reelsforthecamerashy.com and start to gear yourself up to be face on camera. Don't worry about being perfect. Okay? People are okay in general with imperfect and authentic versus perfectly fake. Okay? You can spot a fake. Most of us can. Now, as we move into strategy 4, remember I gave you the analogy of the car. We have our content pillars. We know the types of things that we want to post about. Let's move into strategy number 4, which talks about how we can leverage social media. And now, again, this is an area that can be exhausting and overwhelming and anxiety inducing for some introverts. You don't have to use social media to be successful as an introvert entrepreneur. This is one of the tools that I found to be more successful given the investment that you don't have to make. So when I started my business, I paid mega dollars for a 30-second radio spots. And I got no followers, no feedback, no one joined my email list. Okay, are you following me? Are you picking up what I'm throwing down here? So even you don't have to love it. You think of it as a tool to help you expand your message, and the investment to do that is minimal. There's many platforms. Most of those platforms allows us to use their medium for free, and in exchange for us keeping people on their platform, right? Like our friends, our connections. And if we want to buy ads to increase that, they give us that opportunity. Some of the ones that you are probably familiar with: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. Those are some of the major social media platforms. There are other social communities out there as well. And there is also YouTube and Pinterest. They are considered, they're platforms, but they're actually search engines. You can use those, though, to distribute your message and continue to connect with your ideal audience. The good thing about Pinterest is you can do video or pictures, right? YouTube's primarily videos, but you can repurpose. We talked about that. I recommend, because it can be a lot, okay? It can be. If you attempt to do all of the platforms, learn their new nuances, get your engagement up on all of them, you'll spend a lot of time working in it, not really on it, not really producing any results. You'll be doing things, but posting is not an income producing activity, okay? Let's just face it. So I recommend starting out on 1 or 2 platforms where your ideal customer is hanging out, and then repurpose to the others. Many people start out with Facebook or LinkedIn. Some people start out with Facebook and Instagram. Remember, these are valuable tools to help you connect with your potential customers. So here's some things to consider. As an introvert, you really are going to have to manage your energy and your time and create some boundaries, because there's constant notifications and messages and friend requests and people saying really cool things and inspirational and motivational things popping up like they're doing their job. This can be overwhelming, anxiety inducing, and not give you a return on your time investment. Turn them off. There's no one running around saying, oh my gosh, she turned off the notification. No one is doing that. And although I encourage and coach my people that are starting out on social media to make their profile public, here's the thing. Block and delete your best friends, okay? It's your profile. Manage your time. Scrolling is not an income-producing activity. Now, engaging on other people's posts for a certain period of time and your posting activity and responding and engaging, that's important. Responding to messages in Messenger that lead to conversation and conversion, that's a good thing to do. Manage your time and focus on building relationships and avoid the temptation, because it's vanity metrics when you want the likes and you want the followers and you want it does something to you. Avoid creating your feed of promotional posts where you're telling people to just buy my thing. And also avoid the algorithm tricks. Hey, hit like, or I want to boost my feed, so say hi. Manage it, okay? Manage it. That's not value added, and you want to make sure you're putting out content that people want to engage with. And when you do this, when you follow your content pillars and your content strategy, you will have engagement and organic visibility on any of the chosen platforms. Strategy number 5, build an email list. Start with one. That's how I started. That's how everybody started. Now, it may have sped up really fast, but you start with one. I think, and I wish I had known this sooner and paid attention to it, but your email list is an introvert's BFF, best friend forever. Why? Because we can talk one to many. It's a proven, reliable method of generating leads and sales. You can cultivate your list of people who genuinely want to hear from you. They open it when they want or they don't, and it's okay if they unsubscribe. It also allows you to increase your connection, and then you can continue to nurture the relationship. Now, you may be thinking, I have social media. I have lots of friends and followers. I don't need an email list. Social media platforms are great, but if something happens to your social media platform, where you have friends and they know who your friends are, and you have connections and they know who they are. If you lose access to that, you have that group and it's filled with amazing people. If you lose access to that, you lose access to the people that you're connected to, unless you have another means to connect with them and tell them what is going on. I know when there was a point when Facebook had a little glitch, and I think it was down for maybe 2 to 3 hours. I knew that I had an email list that I could let people know that this is going on. We're still here. I also know that I've had several business colleagues who were shut down on Facebook for a random reason, and they had to start over. But thankfully, they had an email list to tell people where to go to reconnect with them on the platform. Email allows you to continue to nurture and cultivate those relationships. Now, how do you get people to give you their email address? You don't just walk up to them and say, hey, well, at first I did when I first started. I knew some people, and I did say, I'm going to start sending out an email newsletter. I would love it if you would be a part of it. Can I have your email? That works great for some of the people that you know, right? But when you're starting out beyond that, when you're moving beyond the people that you know, and some people are just starting to get to know you, one of the things that I would encourage you to do is to consider creating something that you can give them in exchange for their email address. Now, the term is in marketing language is called a lead magnet. Okay. It can be tips, it can be an ebook, it can be a checklist, it can be a video reference, it can be an article, it can be affirmations, it can be quotes, it can be a workbook. And what it does is it allows them to have something of value because you're talking to your ideal customer, right? Or some who are looking to decide if you are their person, and you're offering something that's meeting a need that they have. You can offer your lead magnet in a conversation or in a DM, which is direct message. First, though, establish that they really have a need and it's not just FOMO, fear of missing out. My mentor taught me to ask this question. And the question is, I'm curious, what made you interested in this resource? For example, what made you interested in my Rich or Poor workbook, your choice? What made you interested in that? And they will respond. That's great. Again, you're helping to see if they're really interested or they collecting things, right? Build an email list. Strategy number 6, network intentionally and responsibly. It can be extremely daunting. That's one of the things I hear from my fellow introverts. And it can be energy draining. It can be, okay, I'm not really good in connecting and meeting new people. Well, intentionally and responsibly. So let's plan to do it strategically and intentionally. Online, I recommend 1 to 2 groups where your ideal customer is or an interest group that you have. Build relationships by being active in the group, and you're building your audience, meaning you're building your ideal audience. You're building people that you can plug into and you can comment on theirs and they can see the content that you're posting. You're building that. I encourage you, as you go into these groups, here's what not to do, okay? Don't automatically go into the group and you make a friend because you think, wow, I think we'd be great friends. And then automatically go into their direct message, ask them to buy whatever it is you're offering before you even know if they want it, they need it. You don't know if they have a means to get it. And you don't know if they're willing to exchange their means for what you offer. Conversation, right? Clarity, connection, conversation, and then conversion. Be interested. And the same applies for events that are offline, right? Back to face-to-face. Before we had online, we had face-to-face. Now it's online and offline. Be interested. Be interested in other people. Know how to be a good referral source. Know how your referral source can actually help you. And it's okay to share with them how they help you. You're building relationships. Now, a pro tip I'll tell you is when people ask you what you do, yes, you have your elevator pitch, and that's all great. But what you want is to get in the position that you're encouraging more conversations. So one of the things that I do is when someone say, hey, what do you do? I say, well, you know how, and I mention a problem that I solve, a specific one, and I help them too, and I tell how I help them. And then I say, if you want to know more about what I do, let's set up a time to chat. Meanwhile, tell me, how was your vacation? Or how was the family? Or what is something you like about what you do? I move it from that place because this sets you apart. Most people are expected to be pitched. You're different. This is how you operate in one of your strengths. You're looking for the connection. You're looking for that group, that one-on-one conversation. And here's another tip. If you're in a face-to-face event and you're starting to get energy drained, what you can do as the connector is connect to extroverts, excuse yourself, or just listen in. Okay. Strategy number 7, leveraging automation and AI. Automation is pretty straightforward, right? You're using tools to do tasks that don't require you to do them one at a time. Email is automation. There's scheduling systems that are automation. Sales funnels that guide your leads through a series of steps that increase their interest and engagement with your offer, ultimately leading to a sale without any additional time and energy once it's set up. That's automation. There's also human automation, where you hire a service or a VA to help you do something so that you can spend your additional energy acquiring new customers, for example. That's your automation. Shifting to AI and how AI helps introvert entrepreneurs. I am only going to touch the surface of this one. And it's a possibility that you know way more than me about AI, okay? Now, unless you've been under a rock, you've heard of ChatGPT or Claude AI or some of the others, right? Now, how does it help you? Initially, when AI was first starting to come onto the scene, I was anti-AI. I was not having it, no way, Jose, until I had this aha moment and realized that it is a tool. It doesn't build a house, just like a hammer still needs a carpenter. AI needs you to be active and direct it. Now, this makes sense for those of you who coach others. Just like the power is in our coaching questions, it's the questions that you ask that is your power when it comes to AI. Now, what can AI do for you? I'm going to rattle off a list. Content creation, content ideas, email ideas, video scripts, timelines for schedules, creating logos, AI generated images, streamlining your sales process, boosting your engagement, personalizing your reach. That's why we cannot ignore the use of this tool as we grow our business. And many of those things, especially with our outreach, that is one that can be intimidating from the introvert standpoint, that you can actually use automation and AI to help make that first initial connection and conversations. One of the tools that I use that helps me, I put in my ideal customer details, and it helps me craft posts that I can create based on the nuances of the different platforms. Pro tip for you, you don't have to know how it all works to use the tool. I don't know what metal is in the hammer or the length of the hammer blade or any of that. What I do know is it works, okay? Use your brain. Don't turn over your brand and use unvetted content. You're still the secret sauce in your business. Yes, AI and automation can help you with efficiency and productivity and time on task. It's generally a low business expense, and there's some scalability that allows you to be able to leverage it effectively to accelerate taking your business to the next level. That's the 7 strategies. And by applying these 7 foundational strategies, you will be able to generate leads and sales. You will be able to build a support network and create a thriving business that aligns with your values, your goals, and your introvert strengths. Now, your action step, I want you to review your ratings for each of the strategies. Set yourself up for success. Choose a focus area based on your self-assessment and do the work for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, preferably 90 days. I also to encourage you to join an accountability mastermind and work with a mentor or coach to really accelerate your results. By embracing your authentic introvert nature and applying what was shared in this training, You will attract your ideal customers and build a successful business on your terms. Remember, being an introvert doesn't have to hold you back. It can be your superpower. You can achieve your goals as an entrepreneur unless you choose to let it hold you back. Okay? Tap into the side of you that was successful in other areas. With the right strategies, the systems, and the mindset, you can achieve personal fulfillment and financial flexibility that you desire. I look forward to celebrating your success. That's it for this episode of the Quiet Impact Podcast. Thank you for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Let me know any insights that you have from this episode. I would love to hear your takeaways. Remember to head to my website, grab a copy of the Success Pillars for Quiet Achievers. It's a resource I created for you. And join us next week. Thank you for watching, listening, and subscribing. See you next time.